How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Made by Google open house. Are you guys having fun playing with the new products? Pixels, Google Home, slates? Good? All right. Well, I also wanted to welcome Alex Proba, a designer. If you've been walking around the space, you may see some of her work framed on the walls. And she also is responsible for creating this amazing mural kind of behind us here in the Pixel Park. So thank you so much, Alex.
Of course, thank you.
Great, so we're going to do a little fireside chat here, a little basketball hoop chat. My dad will be so excited. He wanted me to play sports, but it's about as close as he's getting. So you work in a lot of different mediums. You've had an interesting career journey, but you didn't quite start out in design. Can you tell me a little bit about your path to get here?
I wasn't really allowed to start doing design just because my parents are doctors, and that's kind of what was expected from me, and as a teenager that's what I was listening to. So I got into dentistry school, and then once that was like happening, I was just like, no, I can't do this. Like, I need to secretly apply for design school. And so I applied, made my portfolio and all these things back in the day, and I didn't want to actually send it in because I was like, no, I'm just going to do dentistry. It's going to be safe. And then actually my boyfriend at the time, he just like went to the post office and secretly sent it for me. So then once I got in, I had to tell my parents, and that didn't go too well. But I was like already like accepted, and I canceled my dentistry school and everything. So and I'm from Germany, so school system is a little different than in America. So I didn't have to do undergrad. You just go straight to whatever you want to do.
Wow.
And now I'm here, I guess. So maybe it was a good decision.
Well, I mean, I love that you have all this interesting use of colors and shapes, and you ventured into other kinds of materials. So did you always kind of start out in that space when you went to design school?
I started in studying spatial design, which is kind of a form of interior architecture and graphic design. So it was like a dual kind of study. So I couldn't, because I wasn't ready to decide what I actually wanted to do, and I've always been the person that was curious about everything. So I started doing that, and then quickly realized that architecture is just like too slow for me, and I have no patience for that, and I needed like instant gratification. And so I finished that with the focus on graphic design, and then my first jobs were always in architecture, funny enough. But doing that, I decided to go to grad school for furniture to like add like another medium, I guess, to my repertoire. And I guess I never really thought about what I'm really doing. I just wanted to do all these things. And then now it's like 10 years later, and after like many jobs and a lot of projects, like I finally am doing what I wanted to do. And I do murals, and I do rugs, and I do furniture and branding and graphic and
You're busy.
Anything. Yeah, I'm busy. It's good. So it feels good.
We're going to talk about some of your kind of more tangible art in a second, but I know one of your big design projects was kind of doing this poster a day. Can you talk about why you did that?
Yeah, that's like almost 5 or 6 years ago now. I was in the US, in New York, on a visa through a company, and it's just like it's really hard to break out and do your own thing without having a green card or like a freelance visa or whatever it is. So I wasn't really challenged at my job, so I started this poster day project just to like do something every day. And I had like 20 followers, I think, on Instagram, and they were all my friends, and they were like, yeah, right, you're not gonna do that, when are you gonna do that? And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do it. And then after like a day, 130, it picked up, and people started writing about it, and I was like really confused by it because it wasn't planned. And then I did it for like 4 years in total, so I have 1,460 posters. But 3 years of them were based on people's stories, so people would write in and tell me stories about their lives, like other lives, their mom's lives. So it was pretty fun.
I mean, I definitely, sometimes like just getting started with any kind of creative process is like the hardest part, and I love that you developed a format for yourself and a discipline just to create every day and just to get into that habit. I think that's super important as a creator. You mentioned that you had opened up that project to your community and people submitted stories. Did you get any kind of interesting or unexpected stories from that?
Yeah, I mean, I just expect this because my work, as you can like see in the background or in this mural here, it's super like happy and positive. But like 80% of my stories that I got in were like super sad. They were about like rape and cancer and any drug addiction and like suicide, and I was just like really overwhelmed like getting those stories in, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to call the police? Or because I have your email, I have your name, I have everything, but I just decided to just take it in because they're telling me the story for another reason, and I turned them into like happy visuals, I guess, that maybe made them find closure or have something positive out of something negative. So it was really interesting though, because I expected like funny stories and happy stories, and that's not what I was getting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it's like so nice when people do have this kind of like tragedy or this part in their life that was hard to like see it turn and transform into something beautiful, to respect it and honor it and not try to just like delete it or something. So it's so amazing that you could do that.
Thanks.
You know, all these like murals and designs you make are really awesome in this like kind of like 2D art form, but you also do all this other stuff like rugs and vases. Can you talk a little bit about kind of transitioning from like the screen into the real world?
Yeah, I think that has to do probably with like the instant gratification that I always have to have, and I think for me just designing on a computer or a digital piece is just not enough. Like I rather print it out and have it like feel it, or I rather paint it, or like just my background with furniture and product. I felt like rugs is like the kind of the best translation of my art, and that was before I was painting murals. But it was just like something tactile with, you could touch it and it had different textures, and a lot of my rugs had like different heights and pile and things like that. And it was just like, I don't know, it was just not, I didn't even think about it. I just was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna make rugs. And then I just did it. And I think a lot of my project is just like because I feel like it. And my mom will always be like, but why? Why didn't you make a vase? I was like, why not? Like she's like always like confused about why I do things, but I guess that's me as a person. I just, every day I have to do one thing at least to be like content with myself, I guess.
It's awesome. I know you did a whole series of vases. You work with so many interesting materials. What was that like, trying different things that maybe you've never worked with before?
It's hard because like it sounds, in my head it seems like really easy, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. I just gonna use like bronze or copper or whatever material is in my head, but then the reality is like way harder. It takes way longer. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but that's, I think, the only way that I will figure it out. It's like when it doesn't work, then I'm like questioning myself why it doesn't work, and then you go from there. So I just love the challenge, and I just don't want to ever do a thing because it's easy. I just want to keep growing and failing and going for it. So
it's awesome. It's amazing as you try new things and new materials or talk to people and their stories, how all these things can like collide in your brain to like produce something totally unexpected. And I'm obsessed with your rugs. I just moved to a new apartment and I'm definitely going to try and get one.
You should. Just email me. You have my email.
Okay, I will. I'll definitely email you to get a rug. They're so beautiful. I think we actually have a video. It's amazing. I love that. It's making me want one even more. So we were just talking with Lauren, a photographer, and she was talking about kind of working in her hometown and wandering out at night with her camera, and she got the police call on her. I know you dabble in a lot of things like painting and stuff. Didn't you have a similar story?
Yeah, no, the police always shows up when I paint. It mostly in New York though. I feel like people just have nothing else to do than calling the police when someone is painting.
Right.
a wall, even though the wall is like connected to a store or something. People always call the police and always complain, and but there's the other side that people actually bring me food and water and say thank you for painting. So there's
that's amazing.
Yeah, so there's both sides, I guess.
Well, that's hilarious. Well, Alex, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You know, at Google, we always are looking to, ourselves try new things, and you're such an inspiration for the creative process and trying different things out and not being afraid, and even if you are just doing it. So thank you so much for being here and participating in our space. We're really, really excited.
It was super fun. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.